So welcome to week 2 of Introduction to the Chakras. My name is Beth Barling, and I just want to share my screen. I want to make sure this looks lovely. Okay. All right. It could be prettier, but I finished a class last night at midnight. So I've been doing this Middle Eastern intensive. I know so much about the Middle East, and I'm so happy to actually have had the chance to focus on that. But the rest of my life is chaos. So here we are. All right. So this is week 2 of our chakra program. And as you probably know, that this is the Svadhisthana or the sacral chakra. So this is just like last week. This is sort of a guideline of what I'm hoping to get through tonight. We're going to open circle together. We're going to invite in our higher selves, spirit, Mama Earth, all those things. And so whatever happens, happens. This is just sort of a roadmap, but I'm not married to it. So whatever comes up, comes up. We are going to be talking about each week. I want to do something a little specific on chakra theory as a whole. So we're going to talk about contemporary chakra theory. Last week, we talked about the origins and the Rig Veda and the Upanishads and the different yogic and Ayurvedic texts. This week, we're going to focus more on how we see the chakras today and how we've interpreted them. We're going to introduce ourselves to the Svadhisthana. We are going to do a short inner child meditative greeting. It's not a deep meditation. We're just going to hang out with our inner child because one of the inner child work is huge for the sacral chakra, and creativity is huge for the sacral chakra. So we're just going to connect with our inner child to be able to figure out which creativity break we should be taking. We're going to talk about our own personal relationship with our Svadhisthana, and then we are going to have a short discussion if we have time, and we'll talk about how we're going to carry this into the week. So how did everybody do last week? I know, Nicole, you watched the recording. How did you guys do with root chakra work? Did anything come up that's worthy of mentioning to everybody? No. Good.
Just
I am,
awareness, just
yeah.
like maybe trying to pay attention to like the inner child stuff we talked about and yeah, working on being grounded and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
decided I would try to wear red last week.
Ah,
Today,
perfect.
today I'm kind of wearing orange.
It's perfect.
Help
Perfect.
me get there. Yeah.
So I was terribly untethered. When I write, I'm up here in my intellectual world. And then sometimes it gets so um, distorted that I know that I'm completely ungrounded, like a balloon that string is just like completely gone. So I've been walking outside. I've been eating a lot of chocolate, a lot of ways like I'm really grounding into my body, healthy ways. I promised I wouldn't smoke. Smoking is actually a form of grounding, believe it or not. So reasons we have addictions to smoking and different things like that are going to come up that our lower chakras are deficient. So one of those things. But smoking actually has been a form of grounding for me. So um, I choose to eat or do other things like walk outside. So I did eat my red foods last week. I ate a ton of watermelon after we got off of our call. So, Nicole, did you have anything you wanted to share with the group?
No, I do pretty good with grounding. I like to
Good.
I like to be
Yeah.
grounded. So
Yeah. You are
that's
very
an easy
grounded.
one for me.
Good. I love that. All right. So I just want to take a minute to just lay sacred space, like to call in concentric circles of light around us, around our electronic connection. Um, Only love may enter here, only trust may enter here, only love and trust may enter here, only love and trust may leave here. And just inviting in our higher selves to guide us in this conversation, inviting in divine white light to support us and co create with us, inviting in sweet Mama Earth and anything that you guys want to invite in to help you feel safe and secure. All right. So we are going to get started. So we're going to talk about, I don't know that this would be scholarly contemporary chakra theory. Again, this is from Anodea Judith, and Anodea Judith is, she's definitely a scholar. I tend to gravitate to her because she is a witch. She doesn't profess that she is, but she actually is. From my research of her, there's a lot of associations with that kind of spiritual expression.
What is the name?
It's this lady, Anodea Judith, the lady who wrote Eastern Body, Western Mind.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
Nicole, do you have this book?
I do have this book.
Yes, this is the one. Okay.
I
Have
love
you read this?
book.
Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of this is going to be a refresher.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's what this is. This is a refresher for me, no matter how many times, you read the book or you take a yoga teacher training class. It's always a good reminder. So what are the chakras? So we're going to talk about what the chakras actually are. And I have notes. Let me just pull up my notes. So we talked about how the chakras in the Rig Vedas and the ancient texts are spinning wheels. They're just wheels, right? So today we see the chakras as spinning spheres of bioenergetic energy emanating from this major nerve ganglia branch, which is forward of the spinal column. There are 7 from the base of the spine to the head. And of course, there are all different schools of thought. We're focusing on the 7 chakra theory. There are upper chakras and lower chakras that other schools of thought talk about, but there's also minor chakras in the hands, the feet, the fingertips. So healers, those chakras in your hands. For people who do channel work and work with angels, the throat chakra we're going to get into includes the ear chakras, but there's also very specifically tiny little ear chakras to receive messages and information. There's also apparently chakras in your shoulders, which I did not know about, and I'm going to look more into that later. But really, any vortex of any kind could be called a chakra. These 7 major chakras correlate with basic states of consciousness. They're not physical, obviously, and they cannot be held. However, they do have a very strong effect on our physical body because they express the embodiment of spiritual energy on the physical plane. That gets a little tricky, and we're going to get into the 5 bodies of consciousness in Ayurvedic theory next week. But basically, if we are, much more than we see, if we have all of these different bodies, everything is manifesting. Remember that manifesting current, everything is coming into the physical body, and we liberate by releasing everything back out into that sphere. So all of our chakras affect how we're cultivating and manifesting this physical life. So that's that, the ultimate self-responsibility of our life. If you think about how emotions, right, can affect your breathing, your heart rate, your metabolism, well, your energy body can affect the shape of your body, your chronic physical ailments, your thoughts and behaviors. So that's why, why study the chakras? We study the chakras to help us sort of manifest and bring into our life, sort of cultivate and create the life we want to be living. And again, the journey, what's lingering in our chakras is part of the journey. That's important, and that's unique to you, and that's your life experience. All right, I won't get too far out on that one, but so they're not physical, but they have an effect on our physical body. That's why we actually study the chakras. And by using techniques such as yoga, breathing, bioenergetics, physical exercise, meditation, and visualizations, all the things that we talk about, that's how we heal our chakras. And it's also just studying chakras is how we witness what's going on in our body. So if I have chronic pain in my neck, right? Is there something going on with my throat chakra? Could I be chanting? Like, how can I support, I know a lot of people with thyroid gland issues. How can I support my thyroid gland hearing? I can chant, I can sing, I can do breath work, I can listen. There's all different ways to sort of engage your chakra because you know that there's something happening excessive or deficient within that chakra that's coming into that physical body. Does that resonate with you guys? Does that feel like a truth, or are we still not like, yeah,
Yes.
good. All right, that looks good. You guys look good. All right. Where are the chakras? So the location of the chakras, there's 7 of them. We have the root chakra is down here at the perineum. The sacral chakra is here. The sacral chakra is sort of in that sacral, like, I forget what the word is, but we're going to get into it. But it's sort of right here in your genitals, and it really covers the thigh area. Your hips and thighs, or not your thighs, your hips are part of your sacral. This is your solar plexus or manipura. This is literally your solar plex in your solar plexus. This is your anahata. This is the heart chakra. So the heart chakra, I love to talk about. This is right here in the center of your heart. Behind it, though, is your Hrit chakra, Hrit. Mindy, I think we talked about this in our retreat. Did we talk about the Hrit chakra? Was that us?
I don't recall
No.
that.
Okay. Maybe I make stuff up. It's okay. There's so many things happening here.
Or
but like
maybe I just wasn't part of that conversation, but
maybe.
yeah.
So like the anahata heart chakra is here, and I really love that Hrit chakra, Hrit. It's like right in the center of the back of your heart chakra, and it's your infinite heart. So that's actually when we color these, it's not tiny. It's it's small and pink, but it's infinite. It's your infinite immortal self in there. Love that. I love that in the heart chakra. So the
Yes.
heart chakra is our bridge, right, between our upper and lower chakras. The throat chakra here is right here in the throat chakra. We have the third eye chakra right here. And then we have the crown chakra up here, sort of hovering right here. All of them, it's already gone. I don't know what I was going to say about them, but that's where they are in your body. The location of the chakras are important because based on the location, they're associated with visual states of consciousness. So they're archetypal elements, they're philosophical constructs. So it's not arbitrary. And I think that that's important to really comprehend, because as you grow in your chakra awareness, what I tell you in this class, what anyone tells you in that class, what she's telling you in this book, there is an immense amount of gorgeous, unique energy to you. And when you start to feel things in certain parts of your body, you'll be like, oh, that's my heart chakra, or oh, that's my root chakra, or that's something. You can start to feel into what your chakras mean for you. So it's important to know that this is not arbitrary, that there's sort of a philosophy behind it that is rooted in how we perceive life. So the lower chakras, the ones that are closer to the earth, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra. The root chakra is all about survival. The sacral chakra is all about movement. The solar plexus chakra is all about action. So these are, from the root, the earth, our survival, that oneness, that who we are. Like as we move up this sort of Jacob's ladder of who we are, things go from really dense to really light and formless. So we go from dense form all the way up to no form. So I always think of the first chakra as the one, me, my survival, it's familial, it's being part of the tribe, but it's the one. Then we move into sacral. That's a lie. Like, I take that back. Your root connected to Mama Earth. This is about tribal. This is about your family. Then you move into the sacral, and it's about relating. It's about relationships. It's about sexuality, but it's not just sexual relationships. It's how we relate one-on-one. And then the solar plexus chakra, this is where you are an independent. So now you've come from family to relating with one or two people. And then we come into that solar plexus, that power center that we'll go over next week. And that's your oneness. That's your independence. And then the heart is really the bridge. And then we start to get into these light forms. So the upper chakras deal with mental realms and symbolic issues like words, images, concepts. What are the issues of the chakras? So each of the chakras represents a major area of psychological health that sort of correlate to that dense form up into no form. So survival is the root chakra, feeling safe and secure. Sexuality, super important, is the sacral chakra, super deficient in our society. So I love talking about the sacral chakra. Our power center, our capacity to love, our capacity to communicate, our intuition, which is our first sense, not our sixth sense, but just be aware that that's important as well. And our cognition, what we know. So those are the different issues of the chakras. And then each of the chakras has an element. So these are from Anodea Judith. In classic chakra theory, it's only earth, water, fire, air, and then ether or spirit for the upper three chakras. But these are the, so elements are archetypes, just like if you ever done archetype work with like Carl Jung, it's the same thing. Elements are just similar, you know, they're archetypes. When we think of water, we think of fluidity and flow. We think of, you know, being able to get into anything. We think of magic. We think of water creatures. We think of cleansingness and purity. So, you know, when you think of different archetypes, actually, when we think of archetypes, the way we see an archetype is the way we project onto the world what an archetype is. It's like what we've received from the world and we project on the world, but that's getting into archetype work. But that's what the elements are. And I think it's important to really, if you walk away with nothing, knowing the elements of the different chakras, if you hold on to that, that's enough, because we embody in our bodies, we sort of have identified with what different archetypes are. So if you know the root chakra is earth, you know, oh, okay, my legs are killing me. I don't feel grounded. I feel like I'm going to fly away, or I'm afraid to go outside. I have so much fear. This is my root chakra. And if you think of the earth, you know how to fix it. You know how to go outside and be in the earth. You know how to ground. You know how to like get into your body and do like a yoga practice and really focus on your body. Do you know what I mean? And we're going to see with the sacral chakra, we're going to use water. It's fluidity and flow. The best way to heal your sacral chakra, aside from, well, not even, I would say one of the best ways for me to heal my sacral chakra is to dance. Dancing, moving around, and not for other people, but moving around for myself. And that's water, fluidity and flow. So these are the incremental steps that we walk through, and we embody all of our life processes. And yeah, so any questions on that, on the main chakra stuff for tonight, or any thoughts? Because I know you guys know chakras. This is not new to you. So if there's anything you want to share with the group, amazing Larry, little Pee Wee Herman shout out because he just passed away. You're more than welcome to speak any of that into this. Good. We'll just keep trucking, right? Yeah. Okay. Does this feel good? Okay, good. There I am in my pink outfit. This is my favorite photo shoot, so it's going to come up in everything. And I think it's important to see me in this pink outfit while you see me in reality, to know that that is never what I look like in real life. So we are doing, oh, no, I love it. But that's, you know, I actually have a robe on my lap. As soon as this is over, I'm putting my house coat back on. All right. So Svadhisthana chakra. This is our sacral chakra. So swa means one's own, and adhisthana means dwelling. And just so that we're clear, these are Sanskrit words that we're using. This is the sweetness or the sweet spot. And we are going to go over a lot of stuff. The sweetness of life. This is all about pleasure. This is all about what you want out of life. So I know if you've worked with me for a while, you probably have heard me talk about answering the sacral yes and the sacral no. Your sacral is the seat of pleasure. So if you literally put your hands on your stomach, on your sacral chakra, and if you ask your sacral chakra a yes or no question, she will immediately respond yes or no, because she is not caught up in any of our ego bullshit. She knows exactly what she wants, and she knows exactly what she doesn't want. So if you want a little assistance to get through the fog of, being human, your sacral chakra will always answer you. So you can always ask your sacral chakra yes or no. And living, they call it the pleasure principle, not just Janet Jackson, but this whole ideology of the pleasure principle is to live the life. Like our pleasure is like a guide. It tells us what our unique, like our authenticity and sovereignty sort of comes through in that way when we follow our pleasure center. The deity in Hinduism, I added some other deities, but the appropriate and classic deity associated with the sacral chakra is Vishnu. So Vishnu is this, he is one of the three main gods. There's Brahma, who creates the world, Vishnu, who maintains the world, and the destroyer. Oh Lord, what's the destroyer's name? It's not meant for today, but the destroyer is the third one. Vishnu's the sort of he's the preserver. And Vishnu, most people know him. So the Hindu gods will come into life sort of not going to do that. They are avatars. They come into different bodies that they call avatars, just like the movie Avatar. They emanate in Earth in different human or different avatars and sort of help us that way. That's Krishna. So he comes to this earth as Krishna. That's who Vishnu is. He's the main god that comes down as Krishna. And if you know, Krishna is a lover. Like he is the god of love. Like that's his whole thing. He has a wife, Rama. It's not Rama. He has a wife. I forget his name, but he has lots of lovers. I mean, he is definitely the lover of the community. I love him. But he also, a lot of Christians feel very comfortable drawing parallels between Krishna and Jesus. They're both, they see Jesus as an avatar of God, the Christian avatar. I would say that would be heretical in most Christian circles, but you can see how they can make that parallel. So he's a very comfortable God, though, for Christians, is Krishna. I've heard people tell me that Jesus is Krishna and that when he left his ministry, he was in India as Krishna, and that you would really have to be bending time to go back thousands of years to be Krishna, which Jesus probably could do, but he would only need like 10 minutes for it. He wouldn't need 10 years to do that. I also added the goddesses Freya and Hathor. So Freya is one of my absolute favorite goddesses. She's one of the first goddesses I connected to when I started really connecting to divine feminine energy. Freya is the Norse goddess of love and sexuality. So Norse is Norwegian, Viking, Odin, Thor, all of them. That's that pantheon. There's two different pantheons, though. That warlord pantheon is one, and then there's the farmer pantheon, which is where Freya is from. And she's all about just making love, laying in the wheat fields. She makes love with her brother all the time. Her brother, like it's just the two of them, so they're always making love. But she'll have sex with anyone, anywhere. And I have really good stories about her, but I'll send you guys a Freya recording. Nicole, did you do the Freya class in the Goddess series? Did you do that?
No.
I'll send that one. Okay, Freya.
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sacral chakra. She's my favorite. They're all my favorite at any given moment. Hathor is the Egyptian cow goddess. So Hathor is very, very old. She is who Isis learns all of her magic from. So Hathor she has the point and the disc on her head, and she's the cow goddess, and she is able to travel from, anywhere. She's able to travel between planets and here. But she is also the goddess who works with you for self-pleasure. So they did not shy away from conversations of sexuality and pleasure and self-pleasuring. And she was deeply, profoundly associated with the sacred sexuality of women and the sacred sexuality of men and women together. The element, as we've talked about, is water. The color is orange. And as we know, that was not assigned in the Rig Veda. The purpose is movement and connection with other people. So this is all about moving our body. And the right here, and this is something we can use for our chant, to feel and to have pleasure. I have the right to feel. I have the right to have pleasure. That sounds really simple. And I think that this is one of the most lost pieces in Western society. The right to feel our emotions, the right to be angry when we're angry, the right to be sad and cry when we're sad, and hurt and offended, like to have all these feelings, and to have pleasure. We're always talking about suffering and working so hard and keeping up and it's really hard for me to just lay on the couch all day because I feel so guilty, which is the demon here. I'm sorry, not guilt, but shame. I feel so ashamed that I laid on the couch all day and watched Netflix. But really, if that's what my body was calling for, that's what my body needed. So you can see how the right here to feel and have pleasure, and of course, all the sexuality stuff, the demon would obviously be shame. Anytime we're shamed is when we deny ourselves pleasure and the right to feel. Like, don't cry, little boys don't cry, stop whining, or like different ways that, out of love, people have conditioned us to feel shame for our emotions and for our capacity to have pleasure. So this is an emotional identity. And the orientation here is self-gratification. This is taking care of ourselves in that way. Right? How does that feel? Any thoughts? Anything anything coming through for you guys?
So this one's always this is a real tough situation for me as I'm always super emotional. And then to kind of feel like it's not okay to show all emotions, only the good ones, is always really difficult. And you try and be happy all the time, obviously. But when you're not, and you try and force it because you can't cry and you can't be angry and you can't, this one's always tricky.
It is. And what's coming to me, and obviously I'm not here to tell you, but like for me, I always feel I feel manipulated out of my emotions. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not allowed to cry because I'm going to tell you that crying is a weakness. So I'm going to, you know what I mean? Or so manipulation comes in. And yes, I resonate with that so much. And I think everybody resonates with that. But one of the things that comes up for me a lot in sacred spaces when we were with Kaya Ra for the Sophia Code, or anytime the women get together, it's your sacred rage, your sacred fire. Your power is in your emotions. Your emotions are the way your body is speaking to you. It doesn't speak in words. It doesn't speak in symbols. Those are your channeled things and all that. Your body, this perfect vessel, this perfect software or hardware, speaks to us in our emotions. So the more we ignore our emotions, the more we're completely ignoring our lives. And what's the point? But I feel that, and that I think is huge. It's huge. Yes. So much on that. Emotions. But I think you're going to see like the abuses when we come up into a relationship with our Svadhisthana. It's literally all different ways that people like shame us for feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the ways. Yeah. Oh, the archangels, Ezekiel. I skipped right over that, didn't I? It was like he didn't want to be spoken about right away. So Archangel Ezekiel, I love this because he is the archangel of freedom. That's what this is all about. It's about freedom. This archangel is also associated with the violent flame of transmutation used for cleansing and healing on all levels. So this is associated with Saint Germain. If anybody works with Saint Germain and the purple flame, this is the same thing. He's regarded as the angel of memory who can help people remember their facts and figures. This archangel also helps us to remember our divine spiritual origin and our current life mission. So if pleasure is the roadmap, remember that, take that with you. Pleasure is the roadmap. What I feel I want to do, I should be doing. Just talking to somebody about this today. We're talking about keeping lists. So I read a thing one time that was like millionaires. They were showing you how millionaires keep lists, and they keep, taking things off their list. And then they were like, So now we're going to show you what billionaires do for lists. And there was no list because billionaires don't keep lists. They just do what they need to do immediately when it comes up. So it's almost like they're following divine guidance and pleasure at all times. Your body is a roadmap. So by following this pleasure center, healing this pleasure center so that you can follow the right roadmap, it's a balance. That's part of that beautiful figuring out what your origin is, your life mission, and your unique blueprint in this world. He assists us with emotional healing, which is, this is all emotional healing, and clearing negative energies from our lives. Calling on him helps us to heal past painful memories. The inner child is going to come up even more in this chakra. He helps us to release things that no longer serve us, that no longer serve our highest good. And he helps us to cultivate forgiveness for self and for others by bringing freedom, mercy, and justice into the situation. So you can always call on Archangel Zedekiel, you can call on Freya, you can call on Hathor, you can call on Vishnu. Any of them will help you with this chakra. Whatever calls to you, you can reach out to. You can reach out to Jesus. You can reach out to whoever feels good for you. But his energy brings us unconditional kindness and love and the inspiration to live a life of your own purpose. So this is all part of your sacral chakra. And if you want, I can also send you guys my messy notes like I did last week, if that feels good, so you don't have to write it all down. Okay. Sacral chakra. These are the things that we focus on in the sacral chakra. So movement. So how is your body moving? When you get up and walk around, are you crickety? This is one thing I love doing is arm circles. And if my body is not in flow, if it's I'm making little tiny boxes and not circles, I'm not in fluidity and flow. My movement is out. So this is something we can sort of feel into with movement. It also supports our movement. So how you're moving is letting you know how your body, how your sacral chakra is doing. Sensation, how you feel things. Your emotions are all here in your sacral chakra. Men tend to have really big bellies because they have power issues, and that's all up here in your belly. Women tend to have bigger hips and butts because they're just stockpiling all those emotions they're not allowed to have in their hips, in their sacral chakra. That's one of the things we notice in yoga. The reason they teach you this in yoga, we do in such depth, is when you see somebody walking in who's real rigid, you're like, oh, sacral chakra deficiency. Let's do some, let's open our hips up. Let's do some frogs. Let's do some, whatever. And then if we see a lot of people with bigger bellies, we're like, oh, it's power center day. Let's do some Kali breath. You know what I mean? We work on what we see coming into the classroom. Sexuality is here. I want to add that it's never really mentioned, but one teacher taught me that victimhood is here too. So the opposite of all of this is your victimhood. Being a victim of your life is all here in this chakra. And that's also, and you can see how victimhood would be here. A lot of people are truly victims of horrific things that have happened to them, but embodying your victimhood is being stuck and stagnant in this sacral chakra, not letting it flow through. So if you have victimhood issues, or if you're triggered by other people's victimhood issues, because that means it's in you too, that means you're not exploring your victimhood. If victimhood is a thing for you, this is your chakra. Desires, needs, pleasures. What else is not here is creativity. This is where you create. So as a witch, this is your womb space. This is where we birth things. This is the black womb, the void. This is how we churn and create in this world is all here in the sacral chakra. Pleasure center, sexuality, all of this is very magical in what we're creating in our lives. So how does your body move and how do you feel? So I usually ask that at the beginning of each class, what's one word you could use to describe how you feel? And that's really to ground people into their emotions. And then we ask at the end of class so that you can see how the emotional body is shifting and changing and fluid. So I feel really accomplished today. I feel like I said that last week. I feel like I wore the same pants last week too. But I feel really just accomplished. Is that a feeling? I think it is. I think it's a feeling. Do you guys have a one word feeling if you tapped into your sacral chakra? No.
Quiet. It's a quiet day.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I love that.
Yeah. I actually kind of even took a little nap.
I love that too.
That's
Huge
my
fan of
favorite.
naps. Yeah.
It's just so nice out, you know? I mean, it was cool and I
Mm,
don't know. Yeah. Very
love that.
peaceful. Yeah.
Thank you. Nicole's grounded.
Nicole's grounded.
Nicole's grounded. All right. So here's our yantra. So now we have a six-petaled lotus. The petals represent affection or indulgence, pitilessness, destructiveness, delusion, disdain, and suspicion. I have not done any work on these yantras, but I find these things to be something to meditate on. These are things to ponder. These feel like a very deep philosophical questions. How does delusion, disdain, suspicion, how does this all associate with this center of pleasure? So that's something you can take away with you if you'd like. But when we look at it, we see this white crescent moon right here. Now, I didn't see it in all of them, but the yantra, the Vedic yantra of my lineage has this white crescent moon, and this is the symbol of water. Water is formless, it is flowing, it is cleansing, it is adaptable. And that is also associated with your sacral chakra. It's formless, flowing, cleansing, adaptable. You are, all of your pleasure, your roadmap, all of those things are completely adaptable and formless and fluid to this journey. The element is water. The planetary chakra. So we talked about those last week. Remember, this is Lake Titicaca. So this is down in beautiful, gorgeous South America, very fiery sexual energy. I find it amazing how the energy around, I'm sure people in Latin America are like, whatever, we're over it, but they still feel very like warm and beautiful and sexual. It has that whole like dancing energy. So I love that's where that is. The planet associated with this is the moon, and that makes sense because this is the water chakra, and the moon is associated with our water, with the fluidity and flow of water. It's like the moon, the ebbs and flows of the lunar cycle, always coming and going. We're going to do a little inner child greeting. So just, this is not a deep meditation. I sent out an inner child meditation last week. Did anybody get to do inner child work or sit with their inner child? It's a busy life. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
You did.
Oh, good. So this should be easy because you've already crafted a relationship with her, if it's a her. I invite you to just sort of close your eyes. And invite your inner child to come forward. If she's hiding, maybe coaxing her out. Just sort of notice how old she is. And take a moment to greet her. And ask her if she could do anything right now, anything creative, what would it be? And when you have your message, you can thank her, you can kiss her and hug her, do whatever you need to feel good. Tell her you are going to join her. Tell her to stick with us because we're going to take a couple minute break and do some creative work with our inner child. Yeah, so when you're ready, just coming back into this physical space before we separate for a minute. So my inner child wants to dance. She usually wants to eat pizza. I was kind of hoping for that, but we are going to dance. Do you guys want to share what came through with your inner child?
So we had already had plans to go see the
Mhm.
moon on the beach today.
Oh,
So
love that. You
that was
did
our big
that.
plan for the day.
Did you do
Mm.
it? Or is that
No,
tonight?
we're gonna do it tonight.
So what can we do right now to like connect with her? Like I like coloring and she just wants to just go see the moon, huh? I mean, we can't really tell the inner child to give us something specific. It's whatever they want to do.
We made this plan earlier in the day. We can't really
Made
break
this
it.
plan earlier. How about you, Mindy? What came through for you? That's
She
funny, Nicole.
wants to go exploring, like out
Mm.
in nature.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We are going to take
Hiking
three
about or
minutes.
something.
It's 6. I love that. That's perfect. I'm going to dance around my kitchen. Nicole, your inner child was like, don't mess with me. We're going to see the moon later. So you can just have a chat with her if you want, get something to drink, like make plans with her, maybe draw out plans or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
We'll come back at 6:50. So just give it 3 minutes, 6:50, 6:51, because we're almost at the end of this once again. Yeah, so I will come back in a few minutes, okay?
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.
I love that you're having an inner child play date tonight. I love that. Can you hear me?
I'm pretty excited.
Oh, there you are. I'm pretty excited. I love that. Mm. Mindy's child was like, we're going outside. So is this the kind of stuff you were going over in your community, Nicole? Oh, good. There you go. So it's completely different. Hello, Mindy. Welcome back.
Thank you. Hello.
Right. So to quickly go over the balanced characteristics, and then we're going to go over the excessive, deficient characteristics and ways we can heal. This is for you to like really tap into, do I need to do sacral chakra work? I know that I need to do sacral chakra work. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be dancing for quite some time after this call. Balanced characteristics, graceful movement, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is big because it's the ability to feel your emotions, process them, and properly like handle them and not get stuck in them. It's the ability to experience pleasure, nurturance of self and others, the ability to change, healthy boundaries. Traumas and abuses. So these are, like we said before, like all day long, little things are happening to throw us in and out of balance. These are the massive ones. Sometimes these are like the life purpose traumas that we called into this life for our big life, one of our big life experiences. So these are always the big ones: sexual abuse, emotional abuse. There's so many traumas and abuses here. The whole page is them. Volatile situations, neglect, coldness, and rejection, denial of your feelings as a child, lack of mirroring from your parents, enmeshment. That's that codependency. You know, your happiness is contingent on my happiness, like that whole thing. Like, I'm not happy unless that person's happy and stable. Enmeshment. Emotional manipulation, manipulating one to hide their emotions or employ it, like forcing somebody to feel your emotions as opposed to letting them have autonomous and sovereign experiences. Inherited issues, parents who have not worked out their own issues of sexuality, untreated incest cases, religious severity, dogma, control, physical abuse, alcoholic families. You're going to see the excessive side of this. This is where addiction comes in: drug addiction, obsessive behavior. So, in my opinion, a healthy alcoholic family who's 12 step in it and having good, real conversations, that's amazing. I think this is very, it's still a part of the journey and the healing, but active drug abuse and alcohol around you has a huge effect on your sacral chakra. Restricted movement. It actually says in this book, too much playpen time. So if you were not able to move as a child, that movement, you feel trapped, like you don't have enough space to move out. So the malfunctions that manifest in your body when you have issues in the sacral chakra: disorders of the reproductive organs, spleen, urinary system. I actually have a friend right now who has ovarian, urinary, like she has so much cancer in her tiny little belly, and she's gotten everything removed, and it actually included her spleen, like everything we're talking about here. So, you know, if she was available for this concept, this is like something I would say, hey, like, let's seek pleasure. Menstrual difficulties, sexual dysfunction, men and women, low back pain, knee trouble, lack of flexibility, deadened senses, loss of appetite for food, sex, or life. So those are that's when you have these things, the physical malfunctions, this is when your body is saying to you, hey, there's an issue here. There's an issue in your sacral chakra. So when these things come up, you can go into, is it deficient? Is it excessive? Let me go look. Or these are the physical ones, or you can just heal. So when you're deficient, when your sacral chakra is deficient, we talked about that balance, you're rigid, you're frigid, or you have a fear of sex, you have poor social skills, denial of pleasure, excessive boundaries. That comes up for me a lot. Like, I don't even want people touching me. This is coming up so much more in my adult life, and that's something I'm trying to figure out. Fear of change, lack of desire, passion, or excitement. When we go to circle, sometimes I'm like, I'm not hugging tonight. And they're like, all right. All right, Beth, we know where you're at. So when you're in excess, this is actually sexual acting out, sexual addiction, pleasure addiction, excessively strong emotions, overly sensitive, poor boundaries, invasive, like having your own poor boundaries and then just completely disregarding the boundaries of others, being completely invasive, seductive manipulation, emotional dependency. This is being the enmesher, the codependent, obsessive attachment to people, things, drugs, alcohol, that kind of thing. So no matter where you are, we bring it into balance by healing and loving our sacral chakra. As you get better at this, you sort of figure out like, if I am deficient in my sacral chakra, I need to this is what helps me get that back into balance. And if I'm on the other side of the spectrum, this is what helps me get that back into balance. Movement therapy, To me, this is dancing. This is water yoga. Any type of movement therapy where you're fluid and in flow, like getting that rigidity out of your body. Emotional clearing, emotional releases, or emotional containment as appropriate. So I did a lot of work on emotional clearing, massive, huge journey for me. And even like emotional clearing, there is nothing where you should not be feeling the emotion. Emotional clearing sort of takes away all of the other pieces so that you can be in that emotion and be able to pull that emotion in and out of your heart and your consciousness and like sort of decide what to do with it without all of the programs and conditions around it. But you don't need, I mean, you don't need to do any of that. But the lesson it taught me is, it's important to feel the emotion, whether regardless. It's about feeling the emotion and consciously being self-responsible and in charge of your emotional, like listening to your emotions and being able to process them well. It's also about not holding on to them, letting them flow, but not letting them leave your body until you've had a chance to process it. Inner child work. You can see all of the different ways that your childhood, sexual experiences, not even incest, I'm talking about all the things that happen in childhood. All of this is a lot of inner child work. And it's really just going back and asking your inner child what she needs, if you refer to your inner child as she. Boundary work. Love boundary work. I love boundary work. I have notebooks full of boundaries. And the more I write them, the more I embrace and embody them without having to read them again. 12-step programs for addictions. I think 12-step programs are divinely guided. I'm part of 12. I've done 12-step programs my whole life. So there's actually a yoga teacher who correlates the chakras to the 12 steps. And she teaches yoga teacher training and yoga classes to the addicted community, NA, AA, Al-Anon, all the different groups. She has a huge community up in Central Jersey that she does this for. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Assigned healthy pleasures. So I ate so much chocolate. Like, it's amazing. Like I was grounding with chocolate. I actually they had to remove all the chocolate from the house. It was like the only thing I wanted to eat. But little things that are healthy. The alternative to eating chocolate for me is smoking a cigarette on my front porch. And I'm not judging smokers. I cannot smoke a cigarette. As soon as I smoke a cigarette, I'm the Marlboro man, and all of my Pelotoning and all the ways that I'm healthy and maintaining a healthy life are like, it's just like I want to smoke and drink and not do anything. So that's obsessive for me. Clearly, this is an issue for me. Developing sensate intelligence. So we talked before about emotional intelligence. This is about developing your senses, sensing into things. And a lot of times you can meditate, feeling into, or you don't even need to meditate. What is meditation anyway? It's a bastardized word that we use for concepts that are not grounded in Western society at all. But meditation is, you can just sit with your emotions and talk to them. You can talk to your emotions. And the more you develop a relationship with your emotions and your body, the more they talk to you, the more you understand their language. It's just like any other language. If you had a French woman in your house and you started talking to her, you two would eventually start getting it together. Same with our inner child. When we start doing inner child work, sometimes she's pissed, sometimes she hides from you, sometimes she makes a mess. My inner teenager was wreaking havoc for years, and I had to do a lot of inner teenager work. But it's always about developing relationships. And this is the relationship chakra. This is where we do that relating. So you can start by asking that sacral chakra yes or no questions. That's one of my favorite practices. When I don't know what to do, I put my hand on my belly. And don't let your ego, the sacral chakra is quick and clear and done with you. Don't let your ego tell you that if there's more things that come in, if it's not just yes or no, it's not your sacral chakra. It's my Bethism. I'm going to continue on. I think we're done. This is it. So what I didn't get to create slides. I'm super busy with figuring out the Sunni and Shiite divide in Islam, but that's over. I can add these before I send them out. I usually put a slide with the foods that you would eat and the crystals that you would use to heal. Affirmations, I'll add those. I deserve pleasure in life. I absorb information from my feelings. It's a good one. I embrace and celebrate sexuality. My sexuality is sacred. I move easily and effortlessly. Life is pleasurable. That is one of my favorite things. It gets to be easy. That's like a mantra that comes into me all the time when I am like completely out of pleasure. I'm like, it gets to be easy. And if things aren't easy, I'm not doing them right. It has to be in alignment. When things are in alignment, man, they just flow. I just want to be there and I want to do it and it's pleasure. And when they're not in alignment, it's too hard. It's rigid. So it gets to be easy. That's one of my favorite mantras. I feel is the main mantra. We didn't talk about glands, but these are your testes and ovaries, obviously. Oh no, where's our crystals? You'll never know. I'll find you guys crystals and foods. Obviously, the foods are going to be orange foods. These are sweet things, orange foods, oranges, tangerines. I want to say pumpkins, but I think pumpkins are more root chakra. Oh, what a bummer. All right. So what do you guys think? Yeah, I have no, and crystals are going to be orange crystals. Amber. Amber's a really good one for your sacral chakra. Freya is associated with amber. Her stone, her necklace, Brishingamen, is a classic story, a classic Norse story. So she has this huge amber necklace, and it's supposed to be the most beautiful thing in the Nordic world. That's, Freya's necklace. Tiger's eye is upper. That's not the sacral chakra. Tiger's eye is your power center. Obviously, that's power. Yeah. Citrine, orange citrine. What do you guys think? Any thoughts?
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking about healthy pleasures,
Yeah.
like make a list of healthy pleasures. Yeah.
That
And
feels wonderful to me.
yeah.
I think I'm going to do that.
Right. And I was wondering, is there one book on the goddesses that you use, or have you been? Yeah.
I will tell you, I want to just show you. So this looks really pretty behind me, but it is like a mad scientist in here because this is literally like what my life looks like. So like there's bookshelves. I have bookshelves of goddesses, and even there's bookshelves in my basement. So I recommend the Sophia Code in #1 goddess book. Their activations, it's beginner ritual. It's about getting in your sacred space with the goddesses.
Okay. I did buy that. Yeah.
So, I love the Sophia Code, but I can also I can invite you into my goddess group on Facebook, which is over, but there's all these different recordings you would have access to of different goddess stories that I did, like a whole journey. Sure. So you can listen to them in the car. You know what I mean? Like you can just, yeah.
Cool. I'd like that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I don't have one goddess book. You know what else I'm doing, Mindy? We are holding a Wicca 101 class.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yes. So, one of the elder who, so I'm certified with the Blue Rose, but I'm also certified, ordained priestess in Wicca. So just gathering up little priestess papers. Her daughter is going to run the elder that we work with. It's a husband and wife, but her daughter is going to host Wicca 101 in the American Witch Tour community. So Stephanie and I are going to support her. But I'll send you all the information on that. Wicca 101 is really nice because that's going to be about the moon cycles, how to hold ritual, how to hold your own ritual, good circle, like how to come into sacred space with other women, how to hold circle, the directions. But the last 2 weeks, it's a six session program, is a whole class on goddesses, and then the last week is a whole class on the gods. So Odin
Oh,
and
cool. I
Loki
love
and
that. I would love
yeah.
that. Thank you. Was
So
um
I'll get that
will that
cooking.
be in person or online
No,
or
it's online. Yep, I know
okay?
you're. So are you? Where? How far are you from us?
Far. When Grace and I were driving home, we timed it from the Mullica Hill exit. I think I'm probably 30 or 40 minutes from
Yeah.
you.
So
That's
this
not
is.
bad. Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, you could. I mean, we have open circles every third Monday, so you can come to circle. This though is going to start in October,
Okay.
and we are fair weather witches. So when it's cold, we like to be inside.
Okay.
So it's going to be every other week starting at the end of October. So like going into the winter season. I think
Cool.
it's going to be Wednesday nights. I just sort of nailed her down to some time so I could start marketing it. But yeah, so that'll be cool. But that's where I started. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's where I learned about the goddesses. That's like I did this Woman's Wicca 101 program like a long, many years ago. And that was, I learned about the Hindu goddesses from my yoga training. And then I was like, oh, there's goddesses. And then I just like poured into like all the different goddesses. And, you know, for us in the Blue Rose, it's really nice to do work with Bridget. She is one of she's major Celtic goddess of empowerment. She's the first goddess that came to Mary Tobin.
Wow.
We did an episode.
Okay.
I don't want to give that away. We did an episode with Mary Tobin on the Witch's Hearth. So I will
Oh,
make sure
did
that
you
you know.
really? Oh
Yes,
my
yeah. It
gosh.
hasn't premiered yet. It won't premiere till September.
How
She was really,
wonderful.
yeah, she was really amazing. So that was
Did
amazing.
she
But
channel? Did she channel or just chat?
no, she
Uh,
chatted, but I feel like she said she was being fed how to. I think Mary
okay.
Magdalene was
They
totally with
were,
her.
she had company. Yeah. Cool. Oh, that's wonderful, Beth. I
So
think
I'll
you're
send.
doing really great stuff. I
Thank you.
love what you're doing. I'm
Thank you.
happy to
I'm
be
so glad you're here.
join you. Yeah. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
So I just want to thank our higher selves, Divine White Light, Mama Earth, the Lenni Lenape that let us live and do all of our magic on their land, for cultivating this land for thousands and thousands of years. Just really releasing the elements and releasing the circle space so that we can go back to our normal daily activities with our chakras rotating at appropriate sizes. And I invite you guys to really explore your sacral chakra this week.